Okay, in this video, I am going to just walk through how we account for material and labor. Just kind of go through the journal entries. I'm going to leave a lot of the uh, source documents, like that discussion. I'm going to leave that maybe to you or to the actual homework. But I do want to go over the overview and the journal entries of what's happening. Okay, so again, we have raw material and work in process. And when I'm talking about just material and labor, I'm only really going to worry about these two accounts for now, right? Remember, we do have the third account, which is finished goods, etc., etc. But what I want to talk about is the acquisition of material, right? So we're going to purchase material from an outside vendor that we're going to keep on hand, and it will be in our production facility somewhere waiting to be used. And so let's say that I purchase $10,000 of material on account. The journal entry for that would be raw material, 10,000, debit, and could be accounts payable if I buy on credit, right? That's the acquisition of material. And that's what the journal entry would look like. And then when I use material, right, when I transfer material from raw material to either work in process or manufacturing overhead, a couple of different journal entries. Let's say that I grab $2,000 worth of lumber that I'm going to use for the production of my tables. I would debit work in process, direct material, 2,000, and then I would credit raw material, 2,000, right? We're taking it out of raw material. Hopefully this is review for you guys. Raw material is an asset, and therefore if I'm lowering an asset, I would do it with a credit. Work in process is an asset. If I wanted to increase work in process, I would do it with a debit. That's the review from financial accounting. And if you have troubles with debits and credits, hopefully you don't, you can always use that acronym dealer, right? Dividends, expenses, and assets typically go up with debits, and then the opposite is true. They go down with credits. Liabilities, equities, and revenue go up with credits, and the opposite is true. They go down with debits. Anyway, okay, so let's say now I use $500 of indirect material. $500 of indirect material. The journal entry would be overhead, manufacturing overhead, 500. Remember, it doesn't go straight to work in process. It first goes to the temporary account we titled manufacturing overhead, and then I would credit raw material, 500. Okay, these are the journal entries for material, and this is journal entries for material. And again, we're going to have a job costing record, right? When I'm taking raw material and putting straight into work in process to work on a specific job, there's going to be a job record. There's going to be all sorts of source documents. We call them material requisition documents, where we're getting authorization to grab raw material and put it into production. Again, I'm going to leave all of those slides to you. And if you don't want to watch or read over them before the homework, you may want to pull those PowerPoint slides up and just have them handy for you during the homework. Okay, because we will be using them in the homework. But for now, I just want to lay down the general concepts. Okay. Labor. Let's do labor. Let's say that I have an employee. This employee worked and built a table, and the employee charged us, or it cost us $3,000 to have this employee work on our tables. It could be debit, work in process, and it would be direct labor, 3,000. And then I would do maybe salary payable, 3,000. Okay, that's direct labor. And then indirect labor, say we pay the janitor, me, $500, it would be, again, manufacturing overhead. And I could just call this manufacturing overhead to be consistent, 500. And then salaries payable, 500. And all this, again, would be in the job record. There would be time reports associated with these individuals' time and energy. All right, but this is material journal entries, use of journal entries for material and labor.